Hey everybody, Suzanne Moore here, county librarian with all kinds of cool things going on. Just looking down at what I've got in my lap. I know you want to see this, but first I want to thank you for sticking with me. Yesterday I was out traveling. I didn't get to talk to any of you at my normal hour, so we're doing tea at 2 on a Friday. Um, I would like to start off with saying April is an important month around here. It's poetry month. Poetry is one of my favorite topics to get the feelings behind the words and explore how to describe your sensory details, all this figurative language, metaphors, similes, and just a way of developing a thought. A poem is a way of developing a thought. And music is just like poetry in motion, right? So poems and lyrics and music are some of my favorite things, and I'm really excited that April is celebrated nationally as Poetry Month. There's also the second week, which starts up next week already. The second week of April is National Library Week. The libraries across the United States, across our nation, are celebrating highlighting special programs and fun things for their patrons to let everybody know how important libraries are. They're not just for books, a house of books, but we have books. That is the main thing. But there's a lot more to it, and it's a great way to engage with your community to grow and develop new talents, to hunt up jobs, resources. I know when I was in college and did a lot of research and studying and working on resumes for employment, the library was my go-to place. I mean, there's so much you can do to just advance your own life and then just learn new things. Learning is a passion of mine as well. Well, what I have here in my hands is on the big screen tomorrow. This is a film about the life of Hans Christian Andersen. It's an older film. You may remember this actor here, Danny Kaye. And let me read a little background to you here. A tender, entirely captivating fairy tale, an entrancing motion picture of true, rare beauty. That was what recommended here by the Hollywood Reporter. Once upon a time, there lived in Denmark a young shoemaker named Hans Christian Andersen, whose magical tales delighted boys and girls throughout the land. It says here that in the story of Hans Christian Andersen, we'll dive a little bit into the Little Mermaid, the Ugly Duckling, Thumbelina, and many more of his other tales. Little Mermaid has always been my favorite. I think that one and the Steadfast Tin Soldier are two of my favorite ones. So come out and learn a little bit about this storyteller and get behind the scenes and find out about what these stories and tales meant to him and celebrate them with the rest of us. We are recognizing Hans Christian Andersen this month because his birthday is April the 2nd. Of course, he's over a century old. I don't know. He's no longer here to celebrate in person, but we still want to let his memory live on. Now, I mentioned that we're kicking off National Library Week next week. And we've got a really big lineup here. Some things that you might be interested in learning about or coming out to hear more about. We're going to start off on Monday with the Freedom to Read, and we're going to expose everyone, I guess you say, put together the top 10 most challenged books in the last year. Every year there's a list of those reads that maybe have a little controversy behind them, but they're things that we should all know and understand or want to learn about, and that's your prerogative. You can read or not read, to read or not to read, but we don't want to limit the opportunity for others to read. So Monday is all about the right to read. Tuesday, we're going to have a NASCAR visitor here. Not a visitor, but a car. A car, because our theme for National Library Week is Ready, Set, Library. And here in Wilkes County, we have a speedway and the race is just around the corner. So we're gonna challenge you to get ready, set, and read. Read with us. Come out and have a photo shoot with the car. The car will be here during the day. That will be a really cool thing. Also, during the day, I want to mention I want to talk more about books. We have a special guest illustrator in the house. Now, this is a book by James Wood. He is a narrative folk artist who lives in Ashe County. He's a veteran and he has some very detailed work. I just want to share a page or two for you. It's called Where Do the Birds Sleep? You see the birds? They're sleeping in the top of the barn over here. And it's like some kind of a bird on the bottom of this corn stalk or whatever this is. But the birds, all sorts of birds, they go in different places. And where do they sleep at night? That's what his book is about. And actually, a friend of ours, Guy Jennings, who lives in Florida, wrote the book. And it was a poem originally, Where Do the Birds Sleep? He wrote it based on a question that his grandchildren always used to have. Where do the birds sleep? Papa, where do the birds sleep? They go away at night. Where do they go? So he wrote the poem, and then James Wood illustrated for us. Let's see if there's a picture of him in here. Um, he's got art on display in our meeting space. This past month, we've had him on the wall. Here we go. There he is. And everybody likes to call him Dog for some reason. Dog's his nickname. I guess he's from Georgia, the Bulldogs. But he will be here to read his story, talk about his art, and do an art activity with the kids. And that is at 11 o'clock next Tuesday. So come out and check out the car, stay around and meet the artist, have a fun activity with the artist, and learn about those birds. Spring is finally sprung, right? And the birds are out and about. Now, let's see what we else have that week. Oh, Wednesday at 1 o'clock, our county commissioner, Chairman Casey Joe Johnson, will be visiting us to read a proclamation for National Library Week. Just going to make an official announcement about the importance of libraries from an official a county elected official. And Casey Joe is always got some encouraging words to say. And if you haven't met him yet, you should come out and say hi to him. He is running for re-election, and I think he's fine for the job. So we're really glad to have him here in the house to visit with us. Let's see. Thursday, the Friends of the Library will have a book sale, as they always do, on the second weekend of every month. But they are going to be here in the library with a meet and greet. We'll have some refreshments. You can come by and see a slideshow of all the library happenings over the course of the last year. Kind of like a presentation, but it's a drop-by thing. So come at your own convenience, meet with the friends, and find out what's been going on here and what cool things we're having to showcase with you. Now, Thursday night, after hours, not here, but at Merle's. Merle's is over there in Wilkesboro. We're going to have an open mic night for all those poets and fans of poets. So we're inviting you to come out and read some of your original work, or just read a poem of a favorite poet of your own, someone that you really admire and want to share their work with us. We'd like to just hear the spoken word. So we're going to be out in the garden at Merle's. They have a little garden party atmosphere out back. And we'll have some refreshments, and we'll start reading poems about 6 o'clock. Now, in case it rains, we're going to be across the street at Two Burrows. I don't know that rain is in the forecast. It seems like it's supposed to warm up and clear up, and it'll be a nice spring evening to get outside and visit with folks. So come on down to Merle's Thursday night. Let's see what else is coming up throughout the month. The second Friday That's next Friday. Our Talking Service Book Club is going to be in the house. Now, Talking Service is not just about, well, it's related to service years, military service, and it's a group of veterans, but also anyone that wants to know and understand more, concerned civilians, caretakers, even active duty. Anyone is welcome to visit and find out more about Talking Service. I am actually looking up a poet. That's what I'm doing on my phone, sorry. Wilfred Owen. He is the topic of conversation at the Talking Service Book Club this Friday, 10 o'clock, a week from today at 10 o'clock. So Wilfred Owen was a poet and a soldier, and he fought in the First World War. His war poetry, it kind of talks about the horrors of the life in the trenches and the gas that was used in warfare. It was just very extreme combat, hand to hand, World War One. Let me show you a picture of Wilfred Owen. He's very handsome. I don't know, it's kind of a glare for you. You see him? Might have to look him up. I'm trying to get the glare off of the phone. And I would like to read just a verse. I can find one that um, might be a good one. Anthem for Doomed Youth, 1920. What passing bells for those who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orison. No mockeries now for them, no prayers, nor bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells and bugles calling for them from sad shires. What candles may be held to speed them all, not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes, shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes. The pallor of girls' brows shall be their pale, their flowers the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds. Right. Beautiful, horrible at the same time. But in all great tragedies, tragedy is a joy to the man who dies if war is necessary in our time and place. It is best to forget its suffering as we do the discomfort of fever. This was something that was a quote by another poet. Um, Yeats, he did not appreciate Owen. William Butler Yeats is another early Victorian poet of the day. And he kind of didn't see things, but that's okay. We can see things from different points of view, and that is just an example of the most famous poem by Wilfred Owen. And come out and hear some more and join the conversation. No matter what your opinions are, we love to be a part of the conversation, and we thrive on difference of opinions. It's great to learn from each other, but sometimes it's also good if you do agree or if you have had similar experiences to talk them out, to know that you're not the only one. It's been through some of these things that the conversations might lead to. Again, is a Talking Service Book Club, and that meets every second Friday at 10. And this month we just so happen to be reading some soldiers' poetry from Wilfred Owen. Let's see what else we've got this month. Oh, you remember I was telling you about the film with Hans Christian Andersen? Check it out. I just got myself a collection, the golden edges of the greatest and the complete collection of the greatest fairy tales that were written back then by Hans Christian Andersen. Again, I was reading some stories that I've forgotten about. You hear them as a child, but as you reread them in your adult perspective, as you're older and you reread these books, these tales that you grew up on, is magical, but it also has hidden meaning. There's a moral in there. There's a moral to the story that you kind of get to think about it in a new light. So join us for a conversation at the Reading Trap. Now, the Reading Trap is in Trap Hill. This takes place at the branch library, and it's on the second Thursday of each month at noon. And usually, we always, because it's at noon, we always like to indulge in some kind of taste of the story, whatever the story might be. And like I was saying, in fairy tales, I'm not sure exactly what they're eating here, but in The Princess of the Pea, that's one of the stories. I said, maybe we should have some pea soup. Maybe we should celebrate that story. I don't know. There could be some other tasty things to nibble on. And Danish from Denmark, Hans Christian Andersen, Danish pastry with some good coffee or tea. That sounds nice. Also, since I'm on the conversation about what we're reading now, I want to share with you something to read for next month. And basically, I like to tell you these things a month ahead of time, not a year ahead. Maybe a year will be good for some of us, but at least a month's notice so you have time to find the book, read the book, and then join us for the conversation. So in May, the Reading Trap is going to be reading one of my favorite thrillers, The Bourne Identity. This has also been made into a film starring Matt Damon. We'll talk more about this with May. May. We're still talking about April. I just wanted to throw that out there about May. Let me check. I should have had the calendar in front of me. Oh, I do have something here. This is a little special poster about NC Reads, North Carolina Reads. This is a program sponsored by the Humanities Council of North Carolina, and they are reading books that relate to our state in some way or shape, things that have happened or historical topics. And the book for April is American Refuge. American Refuge. And the conversation on this book is also an after hours event. We're live streaming with librarians, we're live streaming with readers and the author, and some of the people in the book probably will join us as well to talk about this collection of stories. Now, this is about Daya Abdu, and she's talking about these refugees from around the world who began their journey here in North Carolina. Amazing. But there's actually an Iraqi refugee that's here, that started in our state, right here in our county, working for Tyson at the chicken plant. And you'll hear about his story. You'll learn about the challenges, the things that they carry along in the new world to them. I mean, they would have liked to stay where they were, but they escaped for the life of their family to provide better means and protection. Some of these countries around the world are faced with some dangerous situations. There have been assassination attempts. Actually, the one that illustrated the cover here now works over at Tyson. And I'm trying to think what his name might be. I'm looking on the back. I don't see his name just thrown out there on the back cover. But I've been listening to this on my Audible, and it's really heartbreaking to have to think about leaving behind your homeland, going to a strange place, trying to learn new customs, new languages, new system of money, find a job and housing, and it's just like you're just thrown into a whole new world. And how do you handle that? And where do you go? And what can you do? But she has been using college resources here in Greensboro to provide a temporary shelter for these families, and we're going to hear all about their stories in a conversation on April the 24th at 6 o'clock. You can come into the library and stream it live with us, or join the live stream with us. We can all, kind of see each other face to face and have a little visit and conversation and discussion in person. But if for some reason you're unable to attend in person, check out the website, get the Zoom link, and you can join from wherever you are. I've joined before when I've been traveling, and it's always good to hear the author and meet the people in the book. So, April, American Refuge. Next, I want to tell you about Marlynn's book club. If you haven't met Marlynn yet, you need to meet Marlynn. I'm going to invite her to Zoom in with me and talk about books soon. She's been out with other things going on today, but she does have a book club that meets here in the library, in the main library, and they read different books, maybe some popular recent books, maybe some classics, uh, different books that might relate to different times and discussions about what's going on around us. Well, The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. It is a novel, but it has a lyrical way of, it's probably the most poetic sounding novel that you might read. And another tie-in, I could say, you're thinking about Earth Day and you're thinking about environmental things. It's getting out and working in your garden, the planting the trees, Arbor Day, and cleaning up your neighborhood. We've got a cleanup day coming April 20th here in the county. These are some of the things that we think about with April. So this is, I guess, the purpose for reading The Good Earth. Now, The Good Earth is a classic. It's a powerful, moving story. I'm reading the back cover to you, by about a peasant. And this is a Chinese, in a nation of China, where they were, his family was one day to be a powerful dynasty of the gods that he implored. Sometimes he was very humble, sometimes he will elicit anger with the gods, but all of these things were sustained by the earth and the land that he worked to prosper from. His name is Wang Lung, and he worked that land against the ravages of nature and the savage attacks of bandit tribes. This is just a really powerful, moving classical story by Pearl S. Buck, The Good Earth. Probably, again, been around a while. You may have read that in recent past years, or not too recent years, maybe in your past. I know a lot of high schools require this for reading. It's been around in my day for quite a while. So, but it's good if you've read it before and you want to reread it to get another thought or another perspective, and then have it fresh in your head and join the conversation about Marlynn's books, the Marlynn's Book Club. Those conversations are always on the fourth Tuesday at 4 o'clock here in the library. So come out to the main location here in downtown North Wilkesboro and visit us at 4 o'clock on April. I don't have the date in front of me. Let me look at my calendar. Hopefully I have it here on the screen. It would be the 23rd. Okay. The week of Merle Fest, but kick off your week with a conversation. Tuesday afternoon, there's not much going on at the college. All the jamming, though. Jamming does start that night. But get your read on. Ready, set, read. And for the kids, let me tell you about something cool coming up with the kids. Well, at the end of the month, April the 30th, we're going to do finances for your kids. We've got some books to give away. We're going to make some piggy banks with the local government credit union. We're going to help those kids learn about financial literacy skills. That sounds big. That sounds like a big thing, right? But it's never too young to learn how to budget your money, especially if you're a child and you don't have a job. You only get a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. And how do you spend it? Don't waste it. How do you save it? How do you spend it? How do you save it? These are the money monsters. Every child that comes through here on April the 30th will get this activity book. Got the money monsters and a story about the Money Bunny book. Sonny wants to buy everything. Can he afford it? No. Will he have to make choices? Yes. I think we can relate, even if we do have a little income. You got to be careful where you spend it. It's just a very cute story. I don't want to spoil it for you, but join in. Bring your child. Come out and learn a little bit about Sunny Bunny and the Money Monsters. Get your piggy bank. And that's April 30th. And we're going to wrap up the last announcement of the day. I will be publishing more details to give you a reminder later in the month. But on April the 30th at 4 o'clock in the evening, here in our main location, we're going to have a very special poet in the house. Our state poet, our North Carolina state poet, Jackie Shelton Green. She's coming up for a visit. We'll be having a meet and greet from about 4 to 5, maybe 5:30. And then following the meet and greet, of course, we'll have refreshments. It's always good to have something to nibble on. But following the meet and greet with our poet, you'll be able to visit with her, talk to her one-on-one. She will do a reading for us and share some of her projects that she's working on. You'll really enjoy meeting her. She's a state poet. She's making the rounds throughout the state, going to libraries and places, art galleries and bookstores and places throughout the state to visit and share her poetry. And being a state poet, you know she's got to be great. She's going to be great. And I'm really excited to have her here. I don't have any of her poems to read a sample, but I don't want to spoil that. Let her do the readings. She is coming from a Winston-Salem area and will be here that afternoon at 4 o'clock to visit with us. So mark the calendar, save the date, and come on down. With all of that, I mean, I hope you have some fun finding something good to read, and I'd love to know what you're reading. So if you're listening today, join in next month, first Thursday at 2 for tea at 2, and let's talk about books. I'd like to talk about whatever books are on your agenda, what you've been reading, or what you have discovered, or maybe make some recommendations. You let me know what you're interested in. We'll find something good to read. Ciao.